What's up, everybody? Back at it again. OPEX, you're tuning into the mind of OPEX. Let's get into it. I want to talk about your health. I've talked about health a lot on this channel. Now, there are a few things I can't say on this channel or else it'll just be taken down. So I'm just going to get straight to the point without saying any medical misinformation. All right. So, one thing I want to say is that people are relying on the health industry. The health industry is not a health industry. It is a sick care industry. And that sick care industry is very successful. Not in curing the sick, but by making profits and revenue. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Hospitals are everywhere. These urgent care clinics are everywhere. The healthcare industry is everywhere. Now, if they were doing such a good job and all of you guys that are sick go to them, we wouldn't need them anymore. It would be an in and out thing. If your doctor cured you, you wouldn't have to go back. You'd be cured. So we know, blatantly obvious with just the information that I just said. I'm not going to say anything I shouldn't say, but I think we know what we're talking about here, right? Doctors don't cure anyone. They make sure they have a customer for life. We're not going to go through procedures of how they do these things because, again, they don't want you to know that stuff. And that's fine. What I'm trying to get at in this video is to stop relying on others to be healthy. You should rely on yourself. I'm just going to make one point here, and I've been thinking about this for many, many years. Let's just go to autism, right? Autism rates are at an all-time high. Especially in the last few decades, they have skyrocketed. Why is autism, autoimmune diseases, ADD, why is this more prevalent than ever? Well, what procedure do you need as an infant that you have dozens, not just one dozen, but dozens of them while you're just an infant? What did you not do before decades ago to your infants? When my parents were a kid, they had a few shots. When they were a child, when they were a baby, the MMR, when they're like 8 years old or whatever it is. Before that, they get a few shots. I'm making sure I don't say what I'm not supposed to say. But I hope you guys are figuring this out. In this situation, 100%, the medical industry, the medical mafia, are becoming rich on your demise. They're not telling you to stay away from the diseased food. They are telling you to get onto their medical model, become a customer for life. They want to get you as early as possible. They want to scare you and say childbirth problems and all of these issues. But that's not really true. When women die giving birth, it's due to some complication. There are times where the kid's upside down, kicking, coming out really rough, hit those internal organs, or crack a rib that hits an organ, something like that. So what reduces that complication is you sedate the mother. The mother is hooked up to the bloodstream of the child. The child comes out sedated. So they're not kicking or anything like that during child labor. So it is safer. Sure, we can even say statistically they are safer coming out. But to think that it makes more than a few percent difference is crazy. You gotta take your kid to the hospital. You know why they want your kid in the hospital? So they can inject them. That is 100% of the reason. Until the medical mafia became as powerful as they are, we used to have midwives. Women that would help all week long, and this is universal in the world. Every culture had some form of midwife. This midwife was designed to help all week long, sometimes even for months, knowing that there's a woman there that she's supposed to be delivering a baby from, and help that woman with their normal chores for a week, maybe a month, prior to childbirth, and even during the first week after birth, to help out, to deliver the baby. This midwife was essentially the nurse and doctor now that you go to the hospital. Cutting the umbilical cord, etc., right? It's actually not difficult of a task. However, I totally understand if you're a woman, you don't want to go through the pains and the labor pains. I get that. I get that. If that's what you want to go there for, go there. It's not going to make anything more comfortable except for reduction of pain from drugs. And obviously the placebo effect, thinking that you and your baby are now going to be more safe, which is actually the opposite. See, what you fail to realize is the whole reason the medical mafia wants access to your child right away is that you don't adapt to what your children are, what you're used to from your children, right? As soon as your baby's born, they take them and inject them. And the reason why they do that is so you don't get used to their mannerisms. You don't get used to who they are. So you don't see, and then a week later, you're always like, oh, so this is how he is or she is. They're crying all the time. Maybe they're a little slow. Maybe they got autism. Maybe they got diabetes. Maybe they have these weird issues. Maybe they have, they'll have trouble verbalizing when they start speaking. Have some speech impediment. Maybe they have a problem with their brain. Maybe they have epilepsy. Right? Before you realize that your kid's totally healthy, they want to fix that and get you used to what they gave your kid. So then you can say, well, my child's always been that way. Again, I got to watch what I'm saying here. So the point is, they want to take your kid right away so you don't get used to understanding that your kid is perfectly fucking healthy. And what they want to get you to do is get used to, oh, my kid has a problem with this, and it's only going to get worse and exacerbate over time. And then the medical industry is there to help you. So now your kid's 7 years old and has leukemia or whatever, right? And has all these issues with ADD. We got to put them on this drug. They're a patient for life. Why not get them early? See, if that kid's perfectly fine its whole life and you're not taking them to the evil doctor or the hospital or anything like that, they don't have access to your kid. They don't have access to your money. See, the medical mafia knows what they're doing. It is no accident what they're doing. There's no accident that now you have to take 50 procedures as an infant. There's no accident. There's no accident that autism levels are rising. Now, etc. with the other things, right? So, what I'm trying to get at here is that, okay, for example, the U.S. government have done many exercises on this, and they have done much data breaching on this subject. Meaning, They have conducted experiments after experiments after experiments. They have done their consensus on certain types of people, their ethnicities, their backgrounds, etc. You know who they have yet to find with autism? One group in America. In America, I'm just talking about America. What one group have they been unable to find one case of ADD, one case of autism, one case? What group? The Amish. Well, they don't go ahead and inject their kids. They have midwives. They have their kids growing up with real food. It makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Now, there's more to it than just the thingamabob that I'm doing with my finger here into your arm. There's more than that. There's food-like products. If you're buying something from the grocery store and it's not a fresh cut piece of meat that's totally organic, grass-fed, no antibiotics, etc., right? Unless it's that, it's not food. Their berries are fucking sprayed. Their chickens are fucking plump and don't even taste real good. 200 years ago, a piece of chicken, or actually chickens themselves, were more or less wild in flavor, in everything, right? Like they were more free range. So 200 years ago, we had smaller pieces of meat, smaller chickens, and those smaller chickens had more flavor. They were more flavorful because they were more healthy. And you can look at this in all of your meat. The more flavorful the meat, the more fat, the more healthy that meat was. Now, of course, nowadays, meat, let's say, oh, well, bacon tastes the best, and isn't that the worst for you? Yeah, it's full of fucking sugar, and who knows what they're fucking feeding the fucking pigs, man. They need a diet very similar to humans in terms of they need to eat like real food, not fucking grain. Not fucking grain. Genetically modified grain. That's not what they're supposed to be eating. They add all the sugar to the bacon. Salt, sugar, maple. That's your bacon. That's why your bacon tastes so good. Why doesn't your bacon just taste like ham? It should. It should just taste like ham. It's the same fucking thing. But they're adding all these extra elements to your food. So, in my opinion, don't eat that food. Preservatives, all the bullshit, the fillers. Half your quote-unquote food comes in a box and is not really food. It's all processed. It's carbs and sugar, refined. It's not real food. It's not whole food. What do the Amish do differently in their diet? They don't go into the fucking supermarket, do they? Yes, some of them do. A lot of them actually do. But they are way more health conscious. When they're buying food, they are the type of people that look for organic foods. They're not going straight to fruit by the foot or whatever garbage. I can't even think of Pop-Tarts making enriched flour sandwiches. That's not what they're doing. They are getting real food. And not only are they getting them at the supermarket when they go, the majority of their food's right at home. So, they take care of their compost. They make sure that it has a healthy ecosystem, a lot of nutrients in the soil. That soil uptakes the nutrients into the plants. The plants feed their livestock. Very healthy. It's the circle of life. Then those plants that are used for the livestock eat real fucking food. The big difference here than the fucking grain or the shit you get at Tractor Supply. You think that's healthy? Those little fucking pellets? You think pellets are making your chickens healthy? Get the fuck out of here. That's not food. See, we've been brainwashed that we have these little things that can last forever and bugs don't eat them, so they're healthy or something. When it's the opposite. The whole system's designed to make you fail. Everything you purchase at the store is poison. Now we can't even shoot the deer in our backyard. Want to know why? Okay, you can, but you shouldn't even eat that. The deer in your backyard are eating the grass that's been sprayed with glyphosate and all types of pesticides for the last 20 years. This deer is shaking. You see them fucking failing out there. Some of them are all types of problems and diseases with autoimmune diseases. You heard about up in, I think it was Wisconsin or Minnesota or something like that over the years that they have like zombie type qualities because of their immune systems. But the point is, the game in your backyard is eating the grass or trying to eat the weeds that you just put weed eater on. And they're eating that shit, which is destroying their immune system. Then you're eating it, and it's destroying your immune system. Circle of life. What goes around comes around. The idea to which you need to rely on somebody else for your health is the exact idea that's the detriment to your health. I preach and preach and preach and preach and preach and preach. Responsibility. You are responsible. If you're sick, if your child's sick, blame your fucking self. Straight up. Blame yourself. I understand ignorance is bliss. I understand I'd rather not know. There's a lot of people that are like, well, you know, like there's, for example, let's go into politics real quick to give you an idea. There's one half that says, well, blah, 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 the left wing or the right wing, and you should vote for this, and here's why. Okay, great. You got an example. You have high enough IQ to orchestrate some logical and rational thought. And then the other side would be like, well, ignorance is bliss. I'd rather just not know. And then the other side that was begging them to vote for their party or whatever goes, well, then you have no excuse to be angry. You have no, you shouldn't be angry when something doesn't happen the way you want it to happen. So what I'm getting at here is that there is a time and place to be ignorant, and there's a time and place, especially when your health is on the line, to not be ignorant. Some people think that this election is going to be the future of this whole fucking world. The whole world rests in the balance of this fucking politician that you vote into office, which even the right wing know that if Biden becomes president, they stole the election. I mean, everyone fucking knows it, right? Even the left wing, to some levels, know Biden shouldn't be able to win this. He shouldn't have won the first one, right? They're digging up dead voters. They're putting names on ballots from other countries. Half the people that are voting don't even have fucking IDs. Like, it's all rigged. The president's selected, not elected. Like Mark Twain once said, if voting changed anything, they wouldn't let us do it. There's a reason why it's a two-party system and RFK's not invited to the debate. There's a reason. It's because it's all been orchestrated against you. The same would apply to the medical field. The supermarkets, they gave you the American dream. That you could go to work all day, pay for 2 cars in your driveway, your wife stays home as a nice housewife, you have children, you have enough money to support all of them, a home only costs 10 grand, and I'm talking about in like the 50s, right? After the World War II. They sold you on the American dream. Everywhere people stopped raising their own animals, they stopped having their own gardens, and they started going to supermarkets. And that was the demise. bad health mixed with putting your kids into the medical system at a very young age, making them a customer for life as soon as they're born. And a lot of y'all don't know this, but you also signed away their life as a collateral for a debt from the government to the banks. Because technically, you already know this, the government's in blah, blah, blah trillion dollars of debt. However many trillions now, 20 trillion, 25 trillion, I don't even fucking know what the number is. Too many trillion. Who are they in debt to? The banks. The banks use you as collateral for that debt. The banks own you, and the government has given you to them. You are their slave. As soon as you you give birth to that child, the doctor has you sign paperwork. That paperwork is to give up your rights to your child. Your child then becomes what's known as a citizen. You get a birth certificate. You're signing your child away. As soon as you go to that doctor, that hospital, to give birth, they drug you and your child up. So now you're all drugged up. Not good for an infant. Then they want to, you already know, like 20 of them before you even leave that day or the next day. And 50 by the time they're fucking 2 years old. There's a reason for it. Pay attention. How far am I in this video? 22 minutes? Alright. Pay attention to what's going on. Be responsible. Take care of your loved ones. The Amish had it right. The Amish, even though that they are now integrating and getting and eating bad foods, and they're more vulnerable to than ever before to disease and all types of things. And the reason being is because they are leaving their ways. I've seen Amish people drive cars. I've seen Amish people go away from their ways. And the more that is regular, or should I say regularized, the more that becomes normalized, the more that becomes something you see, the more closer they're going to be to having their first autistic child. They may take their kids to a hospital one day. Or maybe the woman decides to give birth in the hospital. Boom. End of all Amish right there. That's how they infiltrate. But the reason why, like I said, that they're doing so good, that they have no instances of autoimmune problems and stuff, is because they take care of everything. They have their midwives, they have a society, they have everything that they need to flourish and to give birth. So a lot of these people, like for example, if I have a woman that I'm trying to impregnate, and I'm going to tell her beforehand, hey, I don't want our kids going to the hospital. I don't want that whole thing. We will drug you if you have to, but we're not going to the hospital. We might have to do this in a kiddie pool, which a lot of people go down to like Mexico, and they get a midwife. So a lot of times you just pay them, and you go about it that route because A, your kid's going to be healthy. Your kid's going to be able to communicate well, have no speech impediments, autoimmune issues, ADD, all that stuff doesn't exist. It only exists. Look, everything is a cause and effect. Nothing falls out of the sky. And if you sit there and think that, well, he was born like that, watch the beginning of this video again. They make sure that's your fucking loser mentality. They make sure you're dumb enough and loser enough to think like that. That's some loser ass shit. That's you coping with your issue with never, ever, ever an attempt to rationalize why it actually happened. Everything in life is a cause and effect. There is no in between. I have 2 videos on my channel that were basically back to back on how to prevent birth defects. And it's quite obvious to me that as much as adamant as I am to give you this information, you guys don't give a fuck. I'm not going to get many views, and that's fine. The information has to be told. This is blatantly obvious. And it is illegal in the United States to give birth outside of a hospital. Why do you think that that is? One, the legality of it. They want to have ownership of your child. They want to give your child a birth certificate the day they're born, so they're documented, and they can just fucking trade their slave cards to each other. That's basically it. 2, they want to make your child dumb and docile and relying on the system. They want your kid to be sick. They want them to be stuck into the medical mafia for the rest of their life without a way out. And you as a dumbass parent, because that's the general consensus of who's breeding the most, the lowest IQ. Don't tell anyone I told you this, but it's blatantly obvious. IQ always has a reason for not having so many children. Oh, I'll wait until I have a bigger house. I'll wait until this, and then they overweight, right? And then the dumbest people are out there breeding, not thinking of consequences, not thinking how am I going to raise this child? How am I going to make sure this child has the best possible upbringing? Well, you didn't have the best possible upbringing, and you're going to relay that to your child. And now you're going to continue the circle of life. So, what am I really getting at here? All of the information I gave you in this video is valid. There is language I prefer to use rather than the blatantly obvious, straight to the point language because of obvious reasons. But in the same token, I am trying to tell you to be responsible. To use real knowledge through the lens of wisdom to get you to act. That action is to take care of your food. There's a UFC fighter that was on Patrick Bet David recently. Bryce Mitchell. I've been a fan of his for a while. I don't agree with this flat earth stuff, but most of his other stuff that he talks about is really fucking good. So Bryce Mitchell said when he was younger, he realized that the only way that he can be truly free is to start a farm. The reality of that is that if you start a farm, you're not relying on their food. Henry Kissinger once said, if you want to control a nation, you must first control its food supply. So you're not trickle down control. Grow your own food. You go to the supermarket, it's all poison. It's not food. If you're buying food from the supermarket and feeding it to your kid after watching this video, you have made a choice to poison your child. I don't blame the fucking supermarket. Just like I'm not out there protesting that people should stop making liquor, right? Liquor's straight poison. Everyone knows it. It's straight poison. Am I out there to say, hold up a sign in front of one of those liquor fucking distilleries? No. Just because they make the poison doesn't mean you should fucking give it to your child. You understand what I'm getting at? They can make all the poison they want. It's up to you as a fucking parent. Be responsible to give that to your child. Are you going to give that to your child? Ask ask yourself, am I going to poison my child? It's your choice. Well, everyone's doing it. It's not so bad. Everyone has ADD. Everyone's dying young. Everyone has diabetes. Yeah, just put him in that group. Oh, he's in the hospital. Oh, he's seizing up again. Oh, he's on pills. He doesn't even know where he is, and he's only 6. That's the life you want your child? You fucking piece of shit. As much as I'm going to call you a piece of shit, I'm not going to stop you. You are responsible for your kid. I'm not. If I was responsible for your kid, I'd be responsible for that person's kid, that person's kid, that person's kid. You know what I'm responsible for? That I feel obligated to inform the adults that are having children. The dumb ones are going to just keep breeding this fucking diseased lunatic, these terrible children that don't respect their parents. You want to keep breeding that? That's what you want in this world? Useless eaters, people that don't even deserve to be here, not adding any value to the world, not even smiling or having a good life. You want to keep breeding that? That's your choice. I want a better world. I want a better existence. I'm not going to twist your arm. I have principles. I'm a philosopher with true fundamental principles to not only help the world, but to do it in a non-aggression way. I'm not here to be aggressive. I'm not here to say go fuck yourself or kill yourself. I'm not that guy. I will say that if you're not adding value to the world, you don't need to be here. You don't need to be here. So your existence makes everyone else's existence worse. The fact that a lot of you are here makes everyone else's life more miserable. So my encouragement is to instill the idea of responsibility into adults. This is the difference between a mature adult and a child adult. I don't care if you're 50 years old. I don't care what the number of years you were on the planet. There is a difference between mature and immature. Immature would be like, well, my daughter asked for Pop-Tarts and I gave her Pop-Tarts. She asked for ice cream, I gave her ice cream. You soft fucking loser. You're harming your child. Are there healthier alternatives to ice cream? Yes. There's vegan ice cream, which is basically a banana. It's basically bananas. There's all different types. I just saw a Dr. Berg video on different types of ice cream and which one's the healthier versus the full of high fructose corn syrup and different types of starches and all the crap that's in the ice cream now. Are there healthier types of ice cream? Sure. But that doesn't even mean that you can feed it to them every day. It's a once in a blue moon thing. You're giving your kids Pop-Tarts every day for breakfast? Those cereals are just sugar and carbs. They're processed as shit. There's no nutrients that you can uptake. Now your kid's high in zinc, and then they have iron deficiencies, and then they have all these issues. Feed them real food. Why? And a lot of you guys, just look at it like this. Have you ever eaten a meal, not even a full meal or not a full meal, like let's just say a regular sized meal, not too much, not too little, and after 2 hours or so you're like, I can eat again. Your body's used to bullshit. You're having fluctuations with sugar and other types of issues going on that's taking you through a roller coaster. One good meal a day will hold you over for a day. Easy. If you had a 12-ounce steak and that's all you ate that day, next day you ate a 12-ounce steak, that's all you ate that day. Of course, You're going to be feeling, oh, my sugar, oh, I don't feel good, oh, I got to take a nap, I don't feel good. Whatever those issues are, is because you are now detoxing from all the shit that you've been eating, all the preservatives, the antibiotics, the bullshit that you've been eating. But after day 3, you're going to start to realize, wow, I got all this energy. Wow, this is all the food I need. I got full off that 12-ounce steak. Don't be duped to the American diet, the standard American diet. I have a video on that from many, many moons ago. Don't be duped. Be responsible. Eat real food. Eat real food. Stop putting your kids in the medical industry and becoming slaves to the government. I think this is like being a responsible adult 101, right? Would you give your kids to Hitler's hands? Because that's what's going on. Medical industry, gas chambers. Store-bought foods, gas chambers. It's all in Hitler's hands, guys. You will eat the bugs. The new Hitler, right? And I have nothing against Hitler or any evil being. If an evil person tells me, hey, I like your kid to eat bugs from now on, you think I'm just gonna bend over and do it? No, because I actually care about my kids, let alone the poison after poison after poison after poison. Stop poisoning your kids. I don't blame the people that ask you to poison your kids. I don't blame the easy access to the poison. I don't blame any of them. It should be you as an adult teaching your kids right and wrong, so morality. Teaching your kids what's healthy and not healthy and why. Do you want to be the kid that's or do you want to be the kid that's playing basketball when they're older and hanging out and smiling and laughing and able to hold a 15-minute conversation without huffing and puffing and can't even breathe? Teach your kids. Be adults. Be parents. Why is that so hard? I get it. Women suck at finding a mate, and men just want to fuck. So men will take what they can get, and women will fucking choose the worst of the worst that had no intentions on taking care of a kid. And these people are breeding, making the next person useless and useless and useless and disease-ridden and dumber than a box of rocks. We're just going to keep breeding that. So when our future of the world, when they depopulate the world, all that's going to be left after they wipe out all the intelligent people that think for themselves are just going to be these useless eaters. That's all that's going to be left. Anyway, I can go on all day on how to be healthy, what to do to be healthy, what causes autism, etc. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. I think you guys can put 2 and 2 together, so I'm not going to take any more of your time. If you made it to the end of the video, please like and subscribe. I hate saying that because I feel like I'm begging you guys to make sure that more than one person looks at my video today. You know what I mean? So I think this is designed to help someone. I don't make this so I can hear myself talk, especially when I'm doing a topic like this that can easily be taken down. I'm not trying to waste my time, but that's why I need your guys' help. I'm not asking you for money. Just press that fucking like button. Make the algorithm be a little confused. Wait, I thought this was misinformation. To, oh, everyone likes it. Let's keep promoting this guy. Like that's gonna happen. But who knows? Maybe we can confuse the algorithm. Maybe someone's gonna click on this video and be like, whoa, he has some interesting facts and topics and ideas. And it may change someone's life. If you're not changing someone else's life, just don't stop me from doing it. That's enough for this video. Plenty more content coming. It's OPEX. I'm out. See you guys.